Hey loves, welcome back to Day Spills Tea. I, of course, am the lovely Day, and I'm a little bit hyped today because I think I'm going back to work this week. I miss my job so much. Anyways, I got to talk to y'all about Real Housewives of Potomac. I thought the meeting with Mia and her mom was super, super touching. I thought that Candiace blowing up on Ashley was just like, yeesh. But I understood that she was kind of stressing about things with Chris, and then she still had this unresolved beef with Ashley and all of that. But we'll talk about it. Before we do, though, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button because I like it when you do that. I like it a lot. Be sure to drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought of the episode. Let me know what you think of anything that I say in this video. And then go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I post a new video. Okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. The episode basically starts off with Mia kind of prepping to see her mom. And so she did something that I do, and she actually called her husband on the phone while he's in the house to come and help her. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one who does this. Anyway, so she's picking out an outfit to wear to meet her mom. And I thought it was sweet that, we all know that her mom put her up for adoption as, a child. Like she was put in a foster home and everything. And she talked about how she really just wanted her mom to come back and get her. And so I think she's going to pretty much forever be in a place where she wants to impress mom. She wants to earn mom's love. She wants mom to, want to be around her and all of that, which I completely understand. So she's like days in advance choosing the perfect outfit to wear to meet her mom. Other people probably see it differently, but I actually thought that it was really kind of sweet. Anyway, so she and her mom do actually go ahead and go out and they have their lunch. And they start out talking about Mia's kids, and she's talking about how, Juju, the little girl, acts like Mia, okay? And so she says she acts like Mia, and Mia acts like her father. And her mom very matter-of-factly said, as a kid, I used to be like, she get on my nerves because she acts like her daddy. And I was like, ooh, to hear that you get on your mom's nerves when you've been missing her all these years, I could just only imagine that probably stung Mia. Like it probably stung a lot. She's still seeking approval and all of that from her mom. Anyways, so Mia asked her, what did dad do? And her mom didn't really want to talk about it, which I completely understand. This woman is not a reality TV star. She's not in the public eye. I doubt she's big on social media and all of that. So to kind of start opening up about something so personal, and then I'm sure it's just uncomfortable to talk about whether there were cameras or not. But she does go ahead and talk. And so she reveals that Mia's father was the one who was responsible for introducing her to drugs. And so we know that Mia has said numerous times how proud she is of her mom for being sober and getting off the drugs. But she says that her father introduced her to that. And then she asked Mia if she remembers the day she got burned. And Mia's like, I don't remember the day, but I have the scars, and she kind of went like this all over my body. And so I was thinking some of us have made mention of Mia's skin. And I think we were thinking it was kind of like bad skin. I'm not even gonna lie. I think some of us refer to it as kind of like being like Kenya Moore skin. But as it turns out, some of that is probably burns, and that's so unfortunate because she's had these scars all her life. And I don't know if it was just her lower body, like from shoulders down, or if it was actually her face, but she kind of did like this. So I'm thinking it was her face too. And her mom says, yeah, you were trying to cook oatmeal and you pulled the pan down on yourself and you suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's horrific. And I know I don't really see young kids cooking a lot nowadays, but when I was a little girl, I was cooking on a fire gas stove at 7 years old. I got this burn. Y'all probably can't really see it, but I got this burn making grilled cheese at 7. And I can think when my kids were 7, no way in hell were they going near a hot stove. And I'm not saying that there was anything against our parents' parenting, but it was different. We were raised to be very, very independent. And I don't know. Anyways, I digress. So her mom goes on to say that she got called from work. And when she got home to address her child who had just suffered a horrific accident. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone who had 2nd or 3rd degree burns, but You smell burning flesh, like the skin begins to peel, like it's horrific. So to come home and find this happening with her daughter, and Mia's father was in the basement with another woman, and that's how Mia was was not being supervised, left unsupervised, and that's how she burned herself. Like, can you say trauma? The trauma that woman would have experienced that day, I just can't even imagine just completely blacking the hell out. Your baby is burned, and this man has some woman in your house. So, Mama, I understand why you said you did not want to talk about it. And Mia kind of still gushes about her dad. Like, she was kind of like, you know, she doesn't really have any ill feelings or feelings of resentment towards her mom. But it sounds like when she talks about her dad, she only remembers the good times, and she kind of makes excuses for him. You know, she's like, other than the times where he was under the influence and so he wasn't himself. But it sounds like I don't know. I can't really think of how it seems to me. Like, I can't really articulate it. I apologize. But it definitely sounds like she's giving her dad more of a pass than she probably gave her mom mentally over the years. And maybe that's because you expect more from mom, honestly. I mean, you know, the idea of mom leaving me somewhere, I think weighs much more heavily on a child than dad. And people might attack me for saying that too. But it seems like that's how it is for a lot of children. Like, mom leaving you is incredibly devastating. Anyway, so moving on from that, you know, and so they talked about, you know, they want to do this more often, and they're glad they actually had the conversation. I'm glad too. Even if Mia doesn't stay on the show for upcoming seasons, I'm glad she was on the show long enough to have this moment with her mom, because I don't know if it would have happened otherwise. I'm not sure why it happened finally this year, but I'm assuming it has something to do with the show, maybe. So I'm glad that it happened. So Wendy talks to Eddie about what happened in Williamsburg. And, you know, Eddie's a little bit pissed off, and I completely understand it. You know, he feels like this was below the line, especially considering the ladies know their story. They know that he specifically basically broke ties with his family in order to be with Wendy. And honestly speaking, that's love. I mean, choosing her over his blood, you know, choosing her, or really choosing his own will over their rules and over their desires is huge. And it says a lot for his commitment to her. I don't know what Eddie is doing and what Eddie's not doing, but I could definitely understand that when you share something personal like that, you don't expect for people to throw things back at you, you know, like from the rumor mill. So Giselle and Robin are doing their podcast. Robin gets there and Giselle has this raggedy door on her frontwards backwards house. And Robin is like making a whole fool of her, clowning the door. And I'm like, Robin, you know you wrong because you know this on camera. Don't do your girl like that. But anyways, I don't know if she couldn't get the door all the way closed or something, whatever. But they sit down and they do their podcast, their reasonably shady podcast. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me they listen to it. Anyways, but they talk about cheating and relationships. And so Giselle gives this stat that 22% of men cheat. I don't know where she's getting these stats from. I don't even care to validate them. I don't care how legit they are. But then she says when she looks around her friend group, it's 100%. I know the podcast is just entertainment, but if I were one of her girlfriends, like if I were Candiace or Karen or, you know, or any of the other girls, like I would be, and of course Giselle has other girlfriends that have been on the show as her friends, like that Erica Lyles and stuff like that. I would be kind of pissed that you put that out there like that. Like I wouldn't like that. Like if I consider myself to be a part of your girlfriend group and you're going to go on your podcast basically saying that my man cheats on me, like, that's kind of foul. So the producers asked Giselle, was she referring to her relationship with Jamal when she said she wished that she had known that all men, once they cheat once, they'll cheat again? And she didn't really want to answer that. And it's just like, Giselle, like, just admit that this was a fake relationship. Admit that he played you in front of people. Admit that he broke the agreement where y'all was supposed to act like y'all was in a relationship, but he was still out having all his other relationships. Like, just be clear instead of talking about, oh, it was just a joke. I could give stats, but I have my own stats. What? That doesn't even answer the question. Anyway, so then she starts saying that if you've been with that man long enough, he's cheating on you. Grow up. Like, that's your experience. That's not everybody's experience, baby. That's not. It's not everybody's experience. I can give you a long list of men who I think are amazing. And I don't have trackers on anyone, but I could tell you that they're not cheating, okay? Long marriages that have been together for many, 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 many years. And you can't tell me that every single one has cheated just because they've been committed to a woman for a long time. Like, when she said that, I was thinking, like, it reminds me of those videos when girls will say that they're tired of hearing other women say that you can't rely on no man. And they be like, no, you can't rely on your man. Because I can rely on mine. He always shows up. But yeah, I didn't like that she said that. So Robin starts talking about how she knew about Juan's cheating when they were younger, but she would just kind of turn a blind eye and just keep things cool because, like, she wasn't about to leave him. She wasn't about to ruin this thing or whatever. And she said, but now at this age, I would dump you. And I don't believe her. I really want to know if y'all believed her, because I definitely did not believe her. It made me just wonder if Juan were, like, still a professional baller, if he was still bringing in that professional baller money and stuff, would you have even pretended to say that? Like, if he were still making the millions and everything, would you really leave him if he cheated? Because I don't believe you. But y'all already know I think Robin be lying, just like Karen. And I love me some Karen, but she be playing with the truth. Robin also, while they were recording the podcast, she also mentioned that she wasn't surprised that Giselle and Jamal didn't work out. And she said she never saw them together. Wait, y'all are best friends and y'all be together often as far as we can see, but you never saw them together? They weren't going out and like y'all didn't do no doubling or anything? Y'all never hooked up together? Like, if I was Giselle, I probably would be mad at Robin for saying that on camera. Like, you're supposed to be helping me keep up the act. Like it was a real relationship. But I was glad that Robin did say that, because it's just further confirmation of what we all knew, of what Monique put out there for the world to see, and even of what Giselle's daddy put out there. It's just that that's not your man, and he ain't been your man for a very long time. So then we see Candiace and Chris are at home, and Candiace, I think Candiace is so super stylish. But man, those eyelashes are so long and so thick, and they're really distracting. Like, it makes it look like her eyes are closed like 80% of the time. And I'm just being distracted by it. But anyway, so she proceeds to tell Chris that Giselle said he's riding her coattails. I didn't like that she told him that. I never would have told my husband something like that. I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know. I don't see the benefit in telling him something so negative that someone said about him. But because she did tell him that, the following scenes where they're at the restaurant and they have their argument began to make more sense. So we know that he's managing her, and it sounds like he's doing a pretty good job. Like, I don't know nothing about managing no artist, but it sounds like he's keeping things moving. It sounds like he's keeping her booked and busy. It sounds like he's really, really trying to do a solid job, and he's taking it very seriously. You know, managing her calendar, everything. And so at the restaurant, we learned that while she's filming some of the scenes for her upcoming video, he's going to be out earning some coins, doing some cooking classes. And so she's immediately upset. Like, how dare you do something other than cater to me, was the type of attitude that I saw. And because she told him that Giselle asked, was he riding her coattail? I got the feeling that he's like, nobody's about to be saying that about me. And I respect it. You know, it's like he doesn't want to be seen as as a man who's living off his wife. You know, he's like, she supported me in the past and I'm trying to support her now, but I don't want it to look like I'm living off my wife's coins. He wants to work for his money. And I can't be mad at that. And I feel like Candiace shouldn't be mad at that. And if you want him to be able to show up to every event, and you want him to be able to always be by your side and all of that, and not have anything else to do for his own business and for his own growth, then y'all need to have sat down and had that conversation and have an agreement about it. Because it doesn't sound like that happens. It sounded like you just kind of expect for him to be there. And it sounds like you almost feel like he owes you that. And, when you kind of expect people to do things like that and you feel like people owe you stuff, you will often be let down. So you all need to like really, really hash it out and have an agreement on how that's going to be handled. Anyway, so he's like, he's going to go do these cooking classes and today I'm going to play golf. And she like really wigged out. And so she said, I'm going to cuss you the F out. But they didn't see now. Since the cast themselves are now always on social media and always spilling tea, it makes us watch the show in a different way than what we used to. Because I'm sure all of y'all were just like me, like, why didn't they show her mouth moving when she said that? And when he said, get somebody else to do all of this crap for free, they didn't show that come out of his mouth. They didn't show that come out of her mouth. Is it something you added later? It's like, and if you did add it later, why did you put it right there to make it like it was part of that conversation? I don't know, it was real strange for me, and I just really want to know what's going on. But again, because the cast is constantly tweeting and doing YouTube videos and doing interviews and all of that, now they're cueing us into certain things that production does that makes us question the validity of all of it. Anyways, so he gets up and leaves, and they put up a caption that he said, F this blank or whatever. And I think that was something that he definitely said in that moment. But again, who knows, because y'all didn't show his mouth moving. So he leaves and she pays the check or whatever. And she gets in the car and she said, I couldn't tell if she said, I'm trying not to curse you out, or if he said, I'm trying not to curse you out. I think she said it because then he was like, it wouldn't be any different than usual. And she was like, well, when you have an attitude. And I just was thinking, like, I've said this before, I don't understand the way they communicate in their relationship. When they get angry, they talk to people like two strangers on the street that's ready to like come to blows. Like I would never talk to my husband the way she talks to him. And I would never accept my husband talking to me the way he talks to her at times. And mainly it seems like it's usually coming from her side. Like all of that swearing and I'm going to curse you out. I can tell you that in almost 25 years of marriage, I have cursed my husband out 0 times. 0 times. I don't think I've ever cursed anybody out in my life because I'm just not that person. And I just think it sounds terrible and it looks stupid. And like, what is the point? What does it do? But maybe I'll be cussing people out and don't realize it. I don't know. But to say I will cuss you out. I don't know. I want them to figure that out. I want them to figure out how to communicate with each other, even when they're angry, and not get low and not like really end up hurting each other. Like, let's let somebody's marriage last. Dang. Like, goodness. Figure it out. Anyways, so Candiace is in a horrible, horrible mood. And she is going to carry that with her probably for a while because now her and her homie, her husband, they're kind of beefing. And so that's why we got so much venom from her at at Robin's birthday dinner. So anyways, we also saw, my battery is about to die. So Ashley and Michael take baby Dylan to see a massage therapist because he has a lip tie, which, is just making it kind of hard for him to nurse. And it's interfering with Ashley being able to give Michael the attention he needs, a little nookie and everything. And so Michael is pretending to be father of the year, or at least it feels like pretending. I feel like her scenes are always so staged, but he's asking the therapist all these questions, which I understand. You want to know who this person is, who you're going to let treat your child. But the questions he was asking was so like, what's your best example? What's your best this? What's your best that? Like, they sounded like they were questions from like a 12-year-old. Like, I would have wanted to know more about her credentials. What was, more unique about these particular cases? Like, what should we expect to see? What should we expect to happen afterwards? Like, I don't know. I just felt like his questions were real elementary. But anyway, so the massage therapist, she goes ahead and takes care of baby Dylan. And so I hope that, they're able to resolve the lip tie without him having to have any big type of procedure. So hopefully baby Dylan is doing just fine. We also saw Karen. She had invited Wendy and Mia to do a dress fitting with her, or to help her choose her second wedding dress. She said she did drop $10K on the first dress. And so she's choosing her second dress. When she came out in that one dress, she did look amazing. Like Karen, she looks great. Like for her age, As far as like body wise and all of that, she looks really, really great. And I think she has good style for and good taste for her age. So she looked really, really nice. Mia and Wendy are chatting, and the venue did look gorgeous. Okay, I had stepped out of the room, so I hadn't seen the front of the venue. I'm listening in my AirPods, and I hear Mia say, when she walked in, she said, kind of industrial, looks like a warehouse. And I didn't realize that that was the same place. So I was kind of like Mia when she's like, oh, this is the venue. It definitely looked very industrial. Like, I don't know. It wasn't a place that I expected to be a wedding venue. But inside, honey, it did look impeccable. It was really, really gorgeous. And Mia meant exactly what she said when she said, well, the interior is perfect. And Wendy is like, not the interior, huh, child? But I'm sure when they do weddings, they probably just need some pillars outside, some lights, a couple of curtains. It'll be gorgeous. I'm sure it's going to be spectacular. Anyway, so it comes up that Mia has received an invitation to Robin's birthday dinner, and she saw that Wendy and Karen were not invited. Wendy and Karen were not pressed, but then Karen tells Mia to take Giselle this message. If I was Mia, I'd have been like, hell no. Why am I taking messages for you? Are you 60 years old and I'm taking a message to somebody else? Why would I do that? And so Mia says she feels like she's in the middle of it, but I wanted Mia to be like, go to hell, Karen, I'm not doing that. But so Karen wants her to take this message about Giselle apologizing for using the word death with Ray's name. Karen, you know this is not real. Like, you know this is not real. Cut it out. Cut it out. And while I know that Wendy and Karen's alliance this season is just that, it seems like an arranged partnership, I did really enjoy seeing the three of them doing the dress shopping. I hope that it, becomes a real sisterhood. I hope that over time it becomes a real friendship. Because it was really, really nice to see, even though we know that it's kind of, fabricated. At least I think it is. So anyway, so they get to the dinner. I got 6% left of my battery. I am trying so hard to get it out. So they get to Robin's birthday dinner, and the subject comes up. Candiace brings up the fact that there are people missing. Giselle is like, are they really? And of course, she runs into her same childish behavior. And she talked about how she had extended an olive leaf to Boo Boo. I don't know why she's calling everybody Boo Boo right now. She extended an olive leaf, and she said, we can have a private conversation. The offer was not initially accepted. So she's like, it has expirated or something like that. She said it was some word she made up. But anyway, so the ladies are kind of feel like that was kind of like whatever. But again, I don't think Wendy or Karen is pressed about not being at this dinner. They're not crazy about Giselle or Robin. So who cares? So what happened? Giselle asked Ashley if she add a little stank on the conversation when she talked to Wendy. And of course, Ashley said, well, I asked her if she and Eddie were trying to reinvigorate their marriage. And the scholar made a good point. She's like, that question basically implies that you assume the rumors are true. Like, I mean, it basically says, why would we need to reinvigorate our marriage, unless something major has happened? And you're suggesting that major event is the cheating. So, like, don't do me like that. I completely understood what a scholar was saying. And Ashley and Giselle, you understood too. Anyway, so Candiace pops off then at Ashley. And what Ashley said something like, I absolutely did not. And Candiace was like, absolutely that hoe did. That was harsh. That was very, very harsh. And earlier in the episode, Chris told her she was being harsh when she called Ashley gross. And so Ashley was like, did you just call me a hoe? And she's like, yes, I did. You brought your wide-bodied self. And it was so jacked up because earlier when Ashley first arrived to the restaurant, before Candiace got there, Candiace looked so cute in those turbans, head wraps, whatever you want to call it. Ashley was saying how she wasn't bouncing back as quickly as she did before. She didn't have quite the same snatch back body-wise. And so I know she's very conscious of it. She even asked Michael, did he look, as far as when she was giving birth, which I thought was crazy because I never worried about that. I know that this man gave me these kids. So He can watch his children be born. And if he's the weak-minded type of man who is not able to still find me sexy when I am, after I had his children, then he wouldn't be the man for me. Anyways, so Ashley already was kind of feeling some type of way about her body. So Candiace calling her wide body was not cool. I had been saying that I was so happy to see the growth in Candiace. And honey, she reverted right back to the childish ways. This was one of those moments where if it was somebody else, Monique, she might have got her butt beat again. Because that was just so unnecessary. You called her wide body. And then Ashley said something about you body shaming me. And Candiace's response was, you body shame yourself. When you walk in the door, you body shame yourself. Candiace, come on, girl, get back on track. Get back on track because you were doing good. Come on back. Get back on track. We're not going to do this to each other. Anyway, so that was the episode. I apologize for kind of rushing through. My back is hurting a little bit. And I knew my battery is down. Oh, I got 2%. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Bye.